Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode on my vanilla Minecraft single player LP. And I know I've been gone for a lot longer than I actually intended, but as you can see, this farm is finished and I'm not going to change to the other mode because first I have a little something for you. So, let's roll that time lapse. Okay, I think the best way to show you this is to use my camera account. And so, I should probably move my regular account. Hang on a minute. Let me switch over and park my regular guy in a safe spot. Just because we don't want phantoms to be raining on his head. On his little head. Anyways, back to full screen mode. Basically, this account should have night vision so you can see things clearly. Basically what I did was I used the beacon from the previous episode and dug all the way down to the bottom layer, and then I was originally thinking that I would try to get at least some episode bits and bobs into this episode, but then I had to wait on a phone call till I got started with it, and the whole day had passed, and I was like, you know what, let's just go ahead and finish it. It shouldn't take that long. And then, so that was on Monday of this week that I'm recording this. I finished digging on Sunday and was waiting on the phone call on Monday. And I thought, oh, yeah, it'd be Tuesday or Wednesday's episode. I'll just go ahead and smash this out, finish it. That was on Monday. Wednesday, I finished putting the redstone in. But basically, what I did is, this is all... Can I hear the other one? Or is it this window? I don't know which window it's capturing for sound. Basically, I just use hoppers across the bottom. Funnily enough, I find this to be much less laggy than, say, using a lot of bubble vaders. If I go into that particular server's world that has the first version with the bubble vaders, I can't actually go in that area without it lagging out completely. It's from all the particle effects due to the bubbles. But basically, the hoppers, it slabs on top with hoppers, runs into a very simple clock that dispenses everything into these ice streams, that then goes over to the item elevator over here, which part of this was actually a lot of fun to get going, as you can see, because there's these caves with water in them, and then it goes up and then into the, I would consider this personally to be temporary storage. But that was the next part that I did, and the sun's going down. Perfect. I'll use my other account to sleep here in a minute. And then after I got that part in, and I put the storage system in first, but I didn't actually put the item filters in until after I got the main body of this completed. And I wanted to do that so that when things fall in, because they will fall in, it doesn't all automatically get destroyed at the end, which actually was the last thing that I did, and I kind of forgot about it. Somehow I managed to forget to install the item destruction until the very end. But anyways, stepped down, started at the bottom, put the rows in, and then I put all the fence gates in. And while I was on the bottom, I also thought, you know, rather than scaffolding across, since I didn't have the top part in, go ahead and put the pistons in. And so I did it in that order, and then I put the walls in. And as you can see, the pistons do work. At first, I was hard to decide on how to waterlog all these slabs, because if there's a place for it to flow besides the block next to it, it will flow that way, and then you can't make infinite sources. So what I did is I used redstone blocks, and then if you place redstone blocks on them, it'll... you can't see my finger, but I don't have a thing to point with because camera account. It'll do 3 pistons in an L shape, and so you put redstone block in the middle of the piston group there, and then on each side, and then the water has nowhere else to go, and you can make infinite sources. I just ran redstone blocks all the way down, and hang on a sec. Yeah, let's pull our ender chest out just so we can get some daylight on my other account. Sleepy sleeps. I'm just recording it. Encoding overloaded. Right. There's nothing going on that window. Anyways, now that we have some daylight, have a nap. After that, I kept running out of redstone for things like all of the repeaters and just the redstone lines across the pistons. But this does work, and you can still hear the portal because that's the window that it's picking the audio from. Anyways, I don't really know. I don't really have a firm idea on what I want to do for the top of this at this time, but I did light it up because things can still spawn there at night in particular. So I just used what is currently the cheapest lighting source for me right now. Sea lanterns, and that it takes 9 full inventory slots to make 1 inventory slot of item, and that's cheaper than torches. So it does work. It does work quite well. Actually, I could probably show you guys. Show it in action too. I wasn't entirely sure at first if this type of design would work, because I wasn't sure if it would need water sources or not. I don't know if you can see my other account on the window at the moment, but I'm going to turn this on. Lag out the game for a minute. And everything. Yes. Yes, I can see that OBS. I'm aware of that. I don't think OBS likes me doing this very well. For the people who want to record YouTube videos and they have a potato, that's not an excuse. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. I've just been AFKing under the portal for the time being, but yeah, it definitely works. It works very well. And if we go over to the item elevator over here, it'll basically be a continuous string of items, just endlessly. But as you saw in the time lapse, I built that ship. This is the well, with this exact design, this is the 4th one that I've made. I have one in my creative test world, and then I have about 2 of them in my first world. One at the Guardian farm that I do have there, and then one further out near where 113 chunks are, because I wanted to have a point to start with, and I thought it would make a pretty good portal room. And then I also built another one in my Season 3 world, server world. That was my portal room, my main portal room for my main base. And I thought, well, why don't we go ahead and use one here too for a portal room? I don't have a portal in it yet, but it's hard to see because of the fog. But there's, on the far left and upper corner of my screen, over there is actually where the end portal is, and the portal to the end portal. And then over there is the All Hostile farm, and then that's the portal to this Guardian farm. So I was thinking, is why don't we combine all of this into a single portal in the middle between all of it? And so that's why I built this ship here, and I'm pointing at the screen again, and you still can't see it. But yeah, I'm just going to make that into the portal room, and I think I'm going to switch back to the other account here. This will take me a minute to get it all sorted, but I'll be back. Alright, kicked my other account off. I'm going to break the bed, because I'm not going to sleep here. On my way over to this for the recording, I sorted a guest. He just happened to be there. But I'm not actually sure on the coordinates of what this will be, so this could be interesting. But basically, you just go down here. Now, I know on the interior the video wasn't as good because it's a lot harder to see what would be a good point to actually record from, unfortunately. But I was thinking, let's see, I'm going to want my axe, because I want to take out a few blocks here. Do I want it to be? I think I want to have a 1 block gap between the portal and the actual back of that. It also means this block has to go and this block has to go, along with the 3 on the floor. But yes, I'm being a cheapskate. But I don't want to go too high because I don't want it to poke out the top either. And then maybe remove that torch there. Put it further back. Should have enough wood to fill that in. Oh, and I just have enough to fill that part in. And then, light that portal. But before I go through it, I want to go and break the other portals. Just to be sure that it goes... I'm thinking that it'll connect to the ocean monument rather than to either of the other two. Actually, I forgot to turn it off. Whoops. Oh well. But yeah, just off in a distance here, there's that portal for the end portal. I think I'm just going to break a block on each of these for simplicity, especially for this one, since there, at the moment, isn't really anything to indicate where it is. Because there's just this hole in the ground. I think I'm just going to do that. And then there's the one over at the All Hostile Farm. And I did grab a stack of torches, rockets before I set off for this. Come on. Could you get there a little faster, please? I know, there's a lot of people out there that would probably keep all the portals and have them all be separate. I'm weird like that. I was reading something somewhere along the ways that they said that it was 300 blocks apart, and so they needed portals at both ends of their base, and I'm thinking, that's actually within the wall of my Season 3 base. There'd be a portal inside of the walls at each end. You can go further than that. You don't have to go through the nether for everything. And then the last portal to break is this one. I'm not going to mess with the coordinates just yet because I put the block back. Do I really want to leave the block there? I don't think I do. I'll take it with me. Anywho, I think this will connect to the box that is normally used for the ocean monument. Although it could also generate an entirely new portal, but I don't think it will. I think we're too close to the original Guardian Farm portal here. In Hoozles. Yep. And the Guardian Farm portal. So, since those other portals are duds, I'm gonna let's go ahead and go break those before we go back through, because I want to verify, of course, that the portal connects correctly. It should, especially since I broke the frame for the other portal. That portal, and then the other one is over there. Yeah, every now and then I'll be flying through here and there'll be a ghast spawning like up here, and I'm like, okay. Ow. But since we won't necessarily need these, and I'm not terribly worried about recovering the resources because currently the cobblestone storage is overflowing at base. As in, I have that little bit of bulk storage set up that I need to redo because it just doesn't work quite the way I wanted it to, and it's completely full. And there's other chests with cobble in them now, and sand in particular. And Hoozles, this should take us out inside the ship. Yep, works perfectly. Like as if I planned it. Anyways, I think I'm going to cut here, and then I'll be back with something else to at least preliminarily discuss. And we're back. And before I get too carried away with any other planning things, we're going to lag the computer out. Now, let's see. So the Guardian Farm, functionally speaking, is in fact finished. And the chickens are doing weird things. I'm not sure why it keeps spitting eggs there. It's really weird. And I've gotten pretty good at that too. Anyways, I actually went, we'll talk about that here in a minute. I'm mostly finished with the castle-ish build. Most of what's left on that is the outer wall and the barracks area. Or not the barracks area, the training grounds. and then also decorate. That's what's left of the castle-ish build. But so we've gotten that, and we did that. I do have some ideas on the automation of the honey. I'm not quite sure where to put the map at the moment. But the other thing I was thinking that I might show you, at least introduce you to, because I'm not exactly sure how long this episode is at this point. I still haven't edited down and compressed the time lapse, and that was around 3 hours of work, which wasn't too bad. I knew the ship wouldn't take as long as the rest of the other part. Anyways, for the witch hut, I was looking on Amidst, and then I've also looked over there a few times, and it'll take me a minute to get over there, but I do have coordinates of where the theoretical AFK spot should be, and it actually works out to where it's a dual witch hut. But I think I'm going to cut here, and I'll bring you guys back after I get over there. I think we're close enough. Let's see if I can relocate that first hut. It's a pair of huts, but I can't remember the exact coordinates off the top of my head. I think it's a disorderly direction. Turner's somewhere. Ah, there it is. Which means the other one is right over here. Yep, there it is. Even harder to show when you land underneath the tree, not on it. Basically, right over that hill, as you briefly would have seen, there's a witch hut over here. And there's the witch. And then over here, this direction, they're within like 50 blocks on the north-south. Or was it east-west? I can't remember. One of those directions is within 50 blocks, and the other one is within 100 blocks of each other. Yeah, and there's the other one right there. So it must be the north-south is the 100 block, and then the east-west is the 50 block. And then the AFK spot, I'll have to look that up. Hang on a second. I gotta exit full screen to do this, because I did write down the coordinates where the actual AFK spot goes. I don't have that full screen windowed thing, so I have to actually exit full screen mode. Let's see. Put that on the other screen just so that I can actually see everything. Ah, there it is. Back to full screen. The AFK spot would be at 984. So this way. This way. 984 and 84, and then the other one was minus 1472. So this way. 1470. Yep, 72. So right here is where the AFK spot would be. Just use whatever you got in your pockets, because that'll work. But basically, that is the exact center between both of the witch huts. And by my calculations, they should have plenty of room for me to be able to AFK around there, probably at a lower height, because I want to clear all this out. And then what I was thinking is have item elevators take the items over to me. Although, if the witches despawn first, then I'm going to have to probably move the witches closer to the AFK spot. But I don't think that'll be necessary based on my calculations. And as I don't plan on AFKing way high up in the sky, I'm hoping that the lower part of the sphere should actually be low enough to where the witches can just fall to their deaths. I don't know if I ever handled the witch out of this one. I may have. Looks like I did. But I know the other one is still standing over there. So, before we bulldoze her house and start spawning in her friends, let's go get rid of her. Shall we? With what I was talking about earlier, it's like, yeah, it should only take a few hours, I thought. It'll be alright, I thought. 6 days later. Ah! There's a hole here. She should still be around here somewhere. Or maybe not. They're not supposed to despawn. I remember hearing about that being a bug before, where they disappear and no one knows where they go. I think I hear her. There you are. Give me your goodies. But my main thinking behind getting the witch farms going is because, well, there are several resources that I could use. Now that the paper shortage has been taken care of, we're running into the problem where I don't have enough gunpowder for the rockets. Plus, I kept running out of redstone the other day, and I was thinking, you know, we could really use a witch farm for that. I'm probably not going to have this all on camera, and I'm rambling a bit, but anyways, and so I was thinking that would be good. I also, for certain things, especially redstone related things, I like using redstone lamps. And unfortunately, I have a very small, limited supply of glowstone, and they also drop glowstone, which I can also use. So 3 of the resources I could use a lot of right away. And probably the empty bottles too, because I do drop those for the honey farm. And then also, they do drop sticks, which I find I need a lot of, or have needed a lot of. I don't think I'm going to need quite so many anymore, but yeah. Oh, that's probably the witch for this hut. Let's, yeah, you run away. Drop a health potion? Probably not. I don't have a looting. And drop the bottle. They seem to be dropping an awful lot of stuff. Anyways, I think I'm going to head back to base. And I'll be right back. Now that we're back here and I've had a little bit of a nap, there's a couple of little things that I want to show you guys before I get off here. One, I finished the fountain, and you may notice it's a bit different from when I last showed the example. I decided to just straight up copy the one I had in my creative world, which meant that I had to move it over that way and that way a little bit, just because of how big it is. But it's all here, so I got all the redstone. There's a glass block where the torch is. Basically, that's where a beacon beam will go through eventually, but then all the redstone's under here. It's nothing too fancy. Just a basic etho hopper clock tying into the redstone torches, which actually I had to lower all this by a block. But there it is, a 3x3 underneath, so if I put a beacon there, it will shine through. And then, the other major thing, well, and I also did the roads, and then I've got a road that now goes all the way up the hill. And one of the things I've done is gone through and made sure that underneath the slabs is a full block of cobble, because it just makes it look wonky. But I got it going all the way up to here, to the stairs, and I brought this all the way back. I haven't put the chiseled bricks, I think that's what it's called, the chiseled stone bricks. Yeah. I haven't brought that all the way across yet, because I want to get the wall up in the towers, or the whatever it was, the gatehouses. I want to get those in first. I'm also thinking about, for around the back, pulling it in a little closer to the central building. That's one of the 3 main things left to do up there. And then down here, there is that one tiny little detail before we go that I thought I would share. I figured out why spruce trees, jungle trees wouldn't grow in this, the 1x1s. The slab that I have, it was a block too low. So I moved it up 1 block, and then all of a sudden, spruce trees started growing in here. And I was like, oh. So maybe that's why I had trouble all those years in the other ones of this that I've built. But I thought I would share that just so that everybody would know. I'm not sure if it's in the tutorial or not, but I just copied this out of block by block. Creative in my first world, and then survival in this world. And built it as is out of my first world, which was copied from the Season 3 world, I want to say. But even in Season 1, it still had that problem, and I figured out that that's what it is. Now over there, the storage is actually getting pretty full, surprisingly. Well, not really. I can theoretically spawn up to 18 golems at a time, so that's not that big of a surprise. But for anyone who thinks that I'm just been spawning iron in, no. It's an iron farm. And our chests are full over to here. Let's call them. Yeah, it's getting pretty full. Anyways, I'm thinking that I've probably rambled enough for this one episode. With the signs for those that for whom it isn't perfectly clear at the moment what I'm talking about. Basically, there's one more building over here. It's a training grounds for like knights or whatever. I was thinking just use some armor stand stuff. I don't have the book for armor stands. Also, the interiors of all these buildings are empty except for the stables. There's a little bit of stuff in there. And then upstairs, that's all almost entirely unfurnished on the interiors. I'm thinking about taking that fountain out too. And then the wall is where the netherrack goes, but I'm thinking about bringing it in a much closer to here. And then have a little side gate that with a road that goes over to the ice farm and then a road that goes over to the skeleton farm, rather than trying to enclose everything into this, because the wall starts wandering around the landscape, and it's like we don't need it to do that, do we? So I'm probably going to bring it in tight over there somewhere. Like over here. Instead of it continuing around, maybe tight directly into there. Also, I have put some decor running up the sides of it there. And over here, at the moment, with where I've got netherrack running, it basically goes over to here somewhere on the other side of the ice farm. And I'm thinking, well, that would be nice. It's also really hard to light that much space up, especially given the terrain. And I've done that a few times, and I'm thinking, why am I making so much more work for myself? So I'm thinking that I'll probably be bringing the wall in much further that away, and then around and in. Although I'll probably still make it come up to the back corner here. And then have the back side of this actually be outside of that wall. Llama! Ow. But yeah, have the wall come up to there or something like that. Anyways, I think I've rambled on long enough. I'm pretty sure this episode's getting to be rather lengthy, even with the time reduction for that time lapse. So, in any event, if you enjoyed the video, do be sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed, then make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.